Hello, I'm a filmmaker and author. Most of my works are very positive and spiritual. This one is a little different. These are some of the awards I've won from my television work. I have something important to speak up about for the good of the world, in hopes of undoing some of the harmful effects from a mistake that I made many years ago. In the early 1990s, I spent 2 years helping Suze Orman onto the public stage at a time when she was unpublished, unknown, and deeply in debt. This photo was taken by a photographer for Walt Disney Studios, who came by to take my photo after I had just won an Emmy Award for their station. As the photographer came by to take photos of the winners, Suze grabbed my just won Emmy, saying, "I want to win an Emmy!" It was not a big deal, but it's a visual example of how Suze takes whatever she wants and disregards others. This was Suze's first television interview that I arranged with my Hollywood colleagues in 1992.
You never know how long. The statistics state that 1 out of 3 people...
Started all over.
All right.
I made the mistake of using my skills to edit this and other footage I filmed
The chances of you getting good investment advice at a bank is almost nil.
into a video that made rip-off artist Suze Orman look like a media-savvy financial expert, in spite of her lack of education or credentials.
I only work with retired people. If you are not retired, you cannot get in to see me.
Here is Suze Orman lying in 1993.
Right? My life is devoted. I have an MSW in social work and geriatrics. My whole life, which isn't that long, but has been dedicated to older people.
Yeah, not so much. No master's degree in social work, and Suze has not worked with older people for any significant part of her life. Maybe she's talking about waiting on older people at the Buttercup Cafe.
I was a waitress till I was 30, making $400 a month, having been a waitress now for 7 years, and never got a grade above a C in college, so don't give me this, people. Just don't give it to me. All right.
One of her recent business partners told me that Suze is the meanest person he's ever met. I concur.
What does that have to do with anything we were just talking about?
It does.
We'll get there. Everybody already hates you. They do.
All the reporters, yap, right at my little feet.
I own 5 homes. I don't owe 1 penny on one of those homes. You know how secure that makes me feel? Everybody thinks I'm worth about $50 million, and they're way short. I am a seriously, seriously wealthy woman. Well, I'm sure people would like to say, well, how much money does Suze Orman really need? I have a crush on myself.
Do you?
Oh, yes, I actually do. I would not change one thing about me.
Tony Robinson is a stupid asshole.
I know that we don't want these things to happen, but in Tucson, the 13 or the 16 people that were shot, they didn't want that to happen to them either.
Can hold a grudge.
And I can hold a grudge.
Do you?
Yes, and I do.
Suze Orman has cheated, ripped off, lied to, lied about, and caused a lot of troubles to many people who helped to begin and expand her career.
Are you kidding me? I wouldn't forgive them. I would try to forget about them. I could care less. But it doesn't stop me. I'm never going to forgive them. Are you kidding? And for what they did. And I think I have a right not to forgive them.
The video I produced helped Suze get her first book deal after her proposal had already been turned down by over 30 publishers. Mea culpa. Then this happened.
Are you not denied?
You cannot afford it.
You are denied.
All right,
you are
Jessica.
denied. Are you kidding? You are
Denied.
denied.
I'd rather see you carry money in a paper bag.
I didn't care what other people thought because I knew what I wanted and I was going to go after it at all costs. I got what I wanted. I never got a grade above a C in college. So I never thought I'd be anything. And look at me today. If I can do what I did, every single one of you could at least reach into your pocket tonight and at least do this so you can protect yourself and your families. There's actually 11,092 differences between heterosexuals and gays when it comes to finances. Just because you can afford to buy a new car right now, you don't buy a new car. When you buy your next Cadillac, you will get that same great low rate. If you ask me, that's the smart money. You deserve to have a vehicle like my approved card. If I can be doing that for you, can you just help me help you?
Now tell me about your prepaid card that you brought out, because you've taken a lot of flack for this.
Yes.
They're like, Susie's on the take here, she's raking up your fees.
You have something new that everybody needs.
It's in my pocket.
Regarding a credit card?
No, it's a debit card. In fact, this is a prepaid card. It's called the approved card. 18 to 24 months from now, a debit card will generate a FICO score. A debit card can create a FICO score. A prepaid debit card will start to create a FICO score for you. People who pay on a debit card can have a FICO score. And therefore, a debit card will generate a FICO score. Can you imagine? You can get a FICO score. So you've got to join me in this, everybody.
This is a big deal.
Big deal.
Read my lips, folks. Prepaid debit cards do nothing. Zero. Zilch to help your credit. Don't argue with me because it just simply is not true.
People who fell for Suze Orman's fraudulent pitches across the media landscape were convinced that using her fee-laden approved card was going to help their FICO scores, and they spread that disease to their friends and family. How devious to use your victims to victimize the people they love and care about.
Don't you understand? There is millions and millions of dollars in poverty. The more you don't know about your money, the more you don't want to get involved with your money, the more money people can make off of you in late fees and these high prepaid card charges.
Suze Orman's card has 20 fees.
Yes.
20 fees.
It's called the approved card. The approved card. So just go online. You can find it under Susie's name or right in the approved card. I know it's being talked about everywhere now that the story broke today, but just go online tonight and read more about their approved card and what Susie is doing individually to try to address the issue of poverty in this way. So, Susie, thank you.
But don't go believe in the naysayers and what they say I'm doing, because that's not what I am doing.
There you go. All right.
Understand, and I'm upfront with you, if you use this card the way I tell you, there will only be a $3 a month fee, period. There is a $3 a month charge, and that's all it will cost you if you use it like I tell you to. Yes, there's a fee on this card. It is $3 a month. But if you use this card exactly like I tell you to, it will never cost you more than $3 per month.
HLN tallies up the fee frenzy you'll face with Suze Orman's approved card.
$2 for a paper statement, $1 for pay by check, $2 for over-the-counter cash withdrawal, and $2 to talk to a live customer service agent after one free call per month.
It also costs you anywhere from $3.50 to $4.95 to load money on the card.
Enter personal finance guru Suze Orman with a dose of her signature tough love and something else, a new kind of plastic. Here she is with my colleague, Juju Chang.
Suze Orman is telling people to quit their banks.
People can go off the grid. They can take their money out of a bank.
But these days, Susie's real mission, turning all her firepower against a surprising new target, debit cards. High monthly charges, fees for every transaction, including ATMs. Suze says the pitfalls are endless. So today, she's launching her own debit card, which is fully transparent. No hidden fees, just $3 a month.
You hate banks, and yet you're getting in bed with a bank to do the prepaid card.
Yeah, now, first of all, let's be clear. I don't hate all banks.
This can't be a completely selfless act. You've got to be making tons of money.
I hope I make a ton of money on it.
How do you put people's needs first and make sure this is not about profits?
So, first of all, let's talk about profits. So let's just go there for a second. Do I hope I make money on this card? Oh, you betcha I do. Because if I make money on this card, then the $3 a month that it's going to cost you to have this card, I get to take that away.
Okay, this can't just be St. Susie. She must be making a buck here.
Well, we'll see. At this point, I'm not making any money. I funded this venture entirely on my own. I did not take any partners because they would want to make money.
Financial journalists, top to bottom, tried warning their readers about Suze Orman's prepaid debit card scam.
People who are making a fortune off of your ignorance want to shut me down. Now, I don't know this is true, but we're going to find out. Somebody recently wrote something about this card and all this stuff that isn't even true about this card, and on this person's site happens to be all these advertisements from all these other cards, credit cards. What do you think about that? Now we have a conflict of interest, I think.
Bloomberg's Business Week found Orman a little ticked at all the bad press, and it quotes, "I am the personal financial expert of the world. I know what I'm talking about. If you start racking up credit card fees, you should just keep it in cash. You don't need the damn card. So you need the card, but you don't need the card. Either way, if you pick it up, be prepared to pay."
This is such a ripoff. There are fees among fees. Then when you try to cancel the card, there are complications with that. The card is canceled, but they still withdraw money from your account. Then you try to go online to stop the money from being withdrawn, and there are hoops to jump through. You have to reset your password. They say they are sending your new password to your email. It never appears, not in spam or junk either. Just a scam. Don't do it. Suze Orman, shame on you.
Suze, are you teaching classes at the University of Phoenix?
No, I'm not.
Did you?
Did I? No, I never did. No, I never did.
Okay.
Now, wait, let me just say something about that. Yeah. I did a personal finance course for the University of Phoenix, the first credited one, under the guise that if you take that course and you look at the beginning of it, it says you cannot take out student loans if you cannot afford it. If you cannot afford to go to this college, I want you to drop out right now.
Okay, Senator Warren.
Just so you know.
Invest in yourself. Suze Orman discusses the importance of responsible borrowing and repayment of student loans.
When you finally do graduate, you need to make a promise to yourself that your number one bill that you will pay each and every month is your student loan payment. The premise of this book, from what everybody has told me, is that the old American dream is dead. It's dead, everybody. It is possible one day you're going to go to your ATM and nothing's going to come out. It's possible you're going to go to use your credit card and you're not going to be able to use it. The old American dream has died, and that is a good thing.
A good thing?
Good thing.
Why might Suze Orman want the economy to crash and the American dream to die? Suze Orman, queen of the crisis. Crisis makes Suze Orman a star. Financial crisis boosts Orman. The recession is bad for almost every woman but Suze Orman.
I am on this kick. A healthier and wealthier you. I did research, and I found out the total was the healthiest. So I actually called them up. We approached them. You know, when you're in an economic crisis, isn't it true that you feel all alone, as if nobody's out there to help you, as if nobody's out there that really understands what you're going through? That's not true when it comes to Avon.
I feel obliged to speak up because I helped launch something that ended up being very destructive to the world.
You don't want to take on the Orman cabal, huh? Good for you, John. Safe move, safe move.
From 2003 to 2008, Orman told people that buying a home is one of the most important things they should do. Saying in O Magazine, "Owning a home is a keystone of wealth, both financial affluence and emotional security. This remains an optimum time to consider buying a home. Don't worry overly much about buying into a housing bubble. Opt for a fixed rate rather than an adjustable rate mortgage. When mortgage interest rates are low, below 7%, as they are now, you will lock in a good rate for the life of the loan. So try to apply for a mortgage sooner rather than later." How many people got wiped out by rushing to beat that rise in rates that Orman predicted and locking in a 7% rate just before it plummeted? This is how Suze Orman dressed for Halloween 2008, while all those victims of her bad advice were losing their homes.
In the new dream, Suze has reversed some of her old advice, most surprisingly about home ownership.
I've always said to you, real estate would be the best investment you ever could make. Well, guess what? Didn't turn out that way. So now there's nothing wrong if you're a renter for the rest of your life.
Many people have been finding their dreams destroyed, and they're trying anything they can to save their homes from foreclosure.
Everything is absolutely uncertain when it comes to the United States of America. It can be any idiot out there who bought a home and then now 1 out of 4 of you are underwater in that home.
The young couple and their son have only the time it takes a locksmith to change the locks, 10, maybe 15 minutes, to grab what they can. Now they'll have to make arrangements with the new owner, a bank, to come back later for the rest of their belongings.
But you might want to ask me, Susie, where's real estate going?
Well, that was actually my question.
Oh, ask it then. No, where?
How long do you think it'll take before real estate markets recover, Susie?
Oh, that's such a brilliant question. Wolfie, I'm so glad you asked. Here's the thing, everybody. Understand this. We have gone down in many areas 50%. There are houses out there that have actually gone from $700,000 in Tampa to $150,000 today.
Wow.
You're seriously underwater by 50%, and the banks will not help you, and you don't know what to do. Bye-bye. You are walking away.
Orman started her gold rush shenanigans in late 2011. Susie went on television shows and blasted Twitter with emphatic directives that everyone should buy gold. Orman's #1 prediction for 2012 on CNBC was that the price of gold was going to go way up. February 2012.
I would have gold be at least 10 to 20%, 10 to 15% of my portfolio. If you had a good portfolio and more money, then up to 20% in gold. Gold, as you may see, is starting to skyrocket up. At this point, I've predicted that I think we'll see gold at $2,100 by November of this year.
Orman's gold rush shenanigans went on, as her shenanigans tend to do, until they disappear from public notice soon after the scams are done. Oh, look, all those pushes to buy gold. There was just that one little tweet amidst the flood saying, "I sold my gold." Con artist Orman couldn't let her scheme go without bragging about her windfall to the detriment of her followers and others invested in gold. "I sold my gold today only because I had a tremendous gain and had way too much money in gold. I made a lot of money on it. I am not greedy. Hey, if I'm wrong, I will buy back in. I do think it will get to 2,100. Even after saying she had sold her gold, Orman continued to tell everyone else to keep buying gold, including this appearance on The View that took place 6 months after Orman claimed to have sold her gold.
Buying gold. Is it the right time to buy gold?
Yes,
really high.
It's high. It's at about 13 right now, but I have to tell you, there's nothing preventing it from going even higher. expert, Michael Gusky, is the owner of Goldfellow, a company that I happen to think is honest. Michael, tell everybody.
Well, thank you, Susie. One of the most interesting things we find with consumers is their misunderstanding about what an ounce of gold is.
Gold probably went up to $1,900 an ounce. Then it went all the way back down to almost $1,500 an ounce. Today, as I sit here in front of you, it's at $1,638 an ounce. I do believe by November of this year, you could see gold at $2,000 to $2,100 an ounce. If you're going to buy gold, the best way to do it is through exchange-traded funds. A week ago, in our Money Navigator portfolio,
fascinating piece this past weekend. Jason Zweig taking it to Suze Orman and her partner, her newsletter writer.
if you're going to buy gold, the best way to do it is through exchange-traded funds. A week ago, in our Money Navigator portfolio, we added gold for the first time at its low at $1,560 here. So we're up almost $100. Follow what it tells you, and then you don't have to worry about it.
That's great.
Then gold went way down. The price plummeted to $1,200, with those who had followed Orman's emphatic advice to put their hard-earned money into gold losing their shirts.
Should you buy gold? I would not own more than 5% of gold in my portfolio, and I don't think, if you're afraid gold is one of the more speculative investments out there, I don't think so.
As usual, Suze made a killing, while those who followed her advice lost a lot.
So I thought, I could be a broker, they just make you broker. So I thought, I know I could be a broker, they just make you broker. I go, I know, I can be a broker, they just make you broker. I was a waitress at the Buttercup Bakery from 1973 to 74, making $400 a month this entire time, from 1974 to 75, to 76, to 77, to 78, to 79, to 1980, when now I am 29 years of age, and I thought to myself, I know what I can do. I can be a broker, because they just make you broker. And I walked right in to the Oakland office of Merrill Lynch to ask for a job. At the time, it was also affirmative action, where all these corporations had to hire women. So before I knew it, I was in the manager's office, and he was looking at me, and he said the following: I am going to hire you, but I can also tell you in 6 months I will fire you. So I did the only thing that I knew what to do back at that time, and I sued Merrill Lynch while I was working for them. Because I sued them, they couldn't fire me.
Based on my personal knowledge and much evidence, it is clear that Suze's books and articles are written by ghostwriters and behind-the-scenes experts. Although obviously Suze has picked up some information over the years, she is basically a financial actress.
Say it. Denied. Are you ready? Rum, rum. Breaks denied. I am denying you. Wait. Are you surprised?
I'm shocked.
You are denied, denied, denied.
Being used by corporations, banks, and billionaires to further their agendas at the expense of the American public. Suze currently has no credentials, even as a financial planner, because that would require her to follow rules of ethics. Personal Finance for Dummies includes Suze Orman right under the heading, Recognizing Fake Financial Gurus. One might wonder how a waitress who never took a single finance-related college course could get in a position to cause so much damage.
The Oprah effect. Thank you very much. We're on the Oprah Winfrey Show, and I think in 1 month it sold 1 million copies. So there's one person that you can credit to making that book sell as much as it did, or at least exposing it to the world, and that would be Miss Oprah Winfrey. She had it on her show 14 times.
So we're back talking with money powerhouse Suze Orman.
You didn't want to go on assistance because you would feel like you were a failure as a mother. Tell the truth. Why didn't you want to go on assistance?
People would hate me.
Thank you. Say it so everybody can hear you, because this day is about you.
People would hate me more.
Because people would hate her.
They already do, but I did more.
And so here was the thing I said to her. What do you care about? Everybody already hates you. They do.
Like, ugh, this is too much. It feels too harsh. I'm a little worried that Nadia feels attacked.
I don't know if I should say the name.
Lie.
Oh,
you
friends.
did not save the money to be implanted.
Guess what?
You lied.
Suze's really tough on Nadia, and we want her to be tough, but
Stop not telling me the truth.
it felt a little bloody to me.
I want you to listen to me. They don't believe you. And if they don't believe you, you have to believe that they don't believe you.
Can I explain it?
Don't, not to me. Talk to Miss Winfrey.
Listen to this. I was in the meeting last night, and I said, well, I totally disagree with Suze. And they said, well, you should tell that to Suze on the show. And I go, I don't want to get smacked down on the show. I don't want Suze yelling me on the show, telling me. What is it you're specifically referring to?
I felt like, even the way she was like, don't look at me, look at Miss Winfrey. The gloves were off, and she was in the ring.
Hello. In defense of Suze.
Yeah.
Suze can't say,
right,
you lie, unless she knows she's lying. Suze then later said, it's because I know what I'm talking about.
I started to become, Suze from the Oprah Show.
I have been in that chair for 25 years. And I have been there when Suze has given a smackdown to somebody, and it was uncomfortable for me. I wasn't uncomfortable today. And the reason why I wasn't uncomfortable...
You know, so Oprah set me straight. You're gonna have Suze on, who's famous for her smackdowns, then you should not be surprised.
Suze being tough is really fine.
Hearing Oprah say that she was okay with Suze being so confrontational and the Suze smackdown was a huge relief. She has done that before, though.
All right, see ya.
End of discussion.
No, I'm glad that that was your take on it.
End of discussion. Nadia said, I want to help.
I'm here to tell you, you need what's on these. Why would Suze Orman call these the must-have documents? If you didn't need to have them, I wouldn't.
In 2012, after a long string of damaging shenanigans, came what was intended to be Suze Orman's biggest con of all, the approved prepaid debit card scam.
Things are not getting better.
I want to ask something, though, that you're doing that we really want to get into. You are starting something that you call a financial revolution.
Yes.
And you have created a new prepaid debit card called the Approved Card. Tell us.
Well, the approved card, I have one in my pocket. I just happen to have it with me. All right, so I just happen to have it. But I want to show you because it's purple. Do you see how beautiful it is? But let me let you in.
I have this instead of American Express and Visa?
Well, I'll tell you about that in a second. But what I really want to tell you is this will be a joke just between all of us. You know why it's purple?
Why?
Why, Suze?
Because red and blue put together is purple.
Okay.
Get it? So politics, all right here. So it boils down to money shouldn't have a political affiliation. It should be there for everybody to better their lives. You know, the approved card on the surface is a prepaid debit card. However, when you look underneath, it really is a movement. It's a movement where people will feel proud and have a place that they can bring their money home to. Do you think at this point in my career that I would get on television and I would say that this card, if you use it like I tell you to, will not cost you more than $3 a month if that wasn't true? Why would I do that? Suze Orman is the person who wrote a book, Pierce, the 2009 Action Plan. I wrote it to be given away on the Oprah Winfrey Show, not to sell it. We gave away 2.2 million copies. I give away my will and trust kit. I give away my Money Navigator newsletter. I give away my identity theft. I'll give it away tonight to all of America if you want. Right? And so why would I, at this point in my career, having given away tens of millions of dollars worth of tools.
Is the problem with it, like with all these things, if you don't study all the wording of this card, you could end up paying extravagant fees?
No, because we even have what's called a fee alert text.
When we're talking about financial services products, if I asked you to rank them all from the best to the worst, the prepaid debit card has to be right down there with pawn shops and title loans and payday lending. It is not a good product. It has horrible reputation primarily because of the fees that you're going to pay by hook or by crook. You're going to pay these fees one way or the other to get access to your own money. That is the huge problem with these products.
The fees on Orman's card went from $1 to $30 a pop. And wait, here's the one that really brought in the big bucks. That live agent customer service call fee. You don't see that very often. Victims of Suze's approved card scam spent tons of money on those $2 calls to her customer call center in the Philippines. People realized that they had been scammed. Suze, your approved card is holding my paycheck hostage today. They are not answering their phone, though they earlier today admitted my paycheck is lost as a result of a bank change your customers had no advance warning of. I cannot buy groceries for my children tonight, get a prescription for myself, or pay my rent because my entire paycheck is floating somewhere in your approved card system. Please make this right immediately. I thought I was a strong woman. The approved card customer service finally broke me. Not sure you'll read this or care, just sharing. My cash is being held hostage by the approved card and Suze Orman through no fault of my own. Can't access it at all. I've been robbed.
Let me tell you why I created the approved card. You spoke, I heard, and what you said mattered to me. So I wanted to give you a place to bring your money home to, a place that really valued you and put people first. And that is the approved card. You know when you speak, I will listen. You know I will do everything in my power to always tell you everything that you need to know. And you can always bank on me because I have your best interest at heart.
This woman knows the approved card customer service number by heart. She made a lot of those $2 phone calls because the company lost her entire account. Sean tweeted over and over and over to Suze Orman asking why nobody could tell her where her money is. Orman finally responded just to shut her up, saying, "They are going to call you. It usually is a different reason than you thought."
So I want the new American dream to have absolutely nothing to do with material possessions. I want it to be that you have self-worth, and because you have self-worth, you have net worth.
Good advice. That's good advice. So Suze, you just launched a new prepaid card. This is a debit card.
Yeah.
I've seen you do some interviews where you were a little bit defensive about people saying, oh, well, why does Suze Orman launching a credit card? Does she need more money? What's this all about? What's the real story with this?
Well, before I tell you the real story with it, I have to ask you what you think of the design of
I think it's great.
Because KT designed it.
KT?
Yes.
I love this.
KT's my better half.
This is Suze's much better, by the way. So I love the design. I think it's great. I love that it has your name on it, and it's the approved card.
Do you know why it's purple?
No, why is it purple?
Ready for this, everybody? When you mix red with blue, you get purple. So do you get it? So do you get it politically? The red party, the blue party?
Oh. I was like, we've just gone on a tangent that I'm not following, and it's my show.
I am going to help you help yourself as I am changing a system, but I need everybody to help me. I need you to join this. So many people are saying, she just wants to make money. No, I want to change your life.
You know, that sounds so good. When is it available, and how do you take part in it?
Yeah, it's available now. All you have to do is go to theapprovedcard.com. Read all about it. Understand, and I'm upfront with you, if you use this card the way I tell you, there will only be a $3 a month fee, period.
As usual, Oprah Winfrey gave Orman a venue to scam Oprah fans.
Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
So I've been using those prepaid debit cards,
Mhm.
and I've been accruing, there's fees that they charge, and I'm kind of worried about that. What do you suggest?
So just let me talk for a second about mistakes you really can't afford to make. The problem with most prepaid debit cards like you're using is they charge you $9.95 a month to have it. Is that what you're paying?
Yes.
$9.95 a month to have it. Every time she uses it, $1. Every time she takes money out of her ATM, $2. Every time she pays bills online, 50 cents per bill. Is this sounding like your card?
Yes.
Exactly. Now, I know which card you have already, but I won't say it on the air, but it's a card that averages $35 to $50 per month just for Nikki to have the privilege of using plastic, correct?
Correct.
The real problem with these cards is they do not report into a credit bureau. So it therefore does not generate or help you at all on your scores. Did you know that, Nikki?
No, I thought it did.
Well, you now know it. There are only 3 major credit bureaus in the United States of America today: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. If you have a card that is sharing information with a credit bureau, they need to be sharing it with one of those 3 credit bureaus, because otherwise it doesn't report. Because this has been such a serious, serious problem in the United States of America, I decided I needed to do something about it. So I have a prepaid debit card that I have brought out. It is called the Approved Card. Yes. All right, you will pay $3 a month to have this card, but here is the news on this card. It is the first prepaid general purpose card, debit card, in history that is sharing information with a major credit bureau, TransUnion. It will take 18 months after you start using it for TransUnion to decide, is that information relevant so that we can calculate scores on it.
This is blatant fraud. Susie's card could not do a thing to help anyone's credit score.
Credit scoring systems are not going to consider information that is not predictive of future credit risk. And a prepaid debit card is really nothing more than me using cash, which does not tell a story about my credit usage.
So let me I'll ask the question in a way that is easy to understand. If I go to Starbucks, does it mean I'm a worse credit risk? I don't know. What does it tell you? Literally nothing, right?
It tells me that you like coffee.
Something is wrong with the system. So help me fix it, people. Here's how. For the next few months, the data that is coming off of this card, the approved card, and you would go to theapprovedcard.com to get one, is being analyzed by TransUnion, one of the 3 major credit bureaus out there. They are finding, and they are happy about what they are finding, it is possible that in the next 6 months to 1 year, TransUnion will deem that activity on a prepaid card will be included on their credit reports. If it's included on their credit reports, it is going to generate a credit score for you. That is history making, but nobody out there wants me to succeed.
It's a scam, disguised as a pseudo-experiment. Somehow, Orman convinced TransUnion to play along. Maybe it was getting all those card users' personal private buying information for free that enticed them. Or maybe it had something to do with that $143 a year that many approved card victims paid to have access to their TransUnion scores that are readily available for free through Credit Karma and other venues. TransUnion's only comment about their big experiment with Suze Orman's approved card came to one Chicago Tribune journalist, who wrote, "Orman says she's not sure where this will lead, and TransUnion wouldn't provide much clarity. When I tried to talk with the company, a spokesman merely emailed me, TransUnion is committed to supporting Suze's efforts to understand the impact of prepaid card use on an individual's credit health. Our goal is to help Suze understand whether including this data in a consumer's credit report would impact access to credit products.
It's an experiment, everybody. My goal is to get it so that debit cards create a score. And if it can, we've changed the scoring system in the United States of America.
And so is one credit agency enough, though, to make those scores relevant?
No, I want Experian to join me in this. I want Equifax. Come on, everybody.
On yesterday's show, SmartCredit.com's John Alzheimer called for the celebrity financial guru to cancel her card, which is riddled with fees. The big question is, will she? We reached out to Bancorp, the company that issues the card. They have not returned our phone calls or responded to our emails. Greg McBride is here to shed some light on the topic. He's a senior financial analyst for Bankrate.com. Greg, welcome back to the show. Good to see you. Tell me, sir, what do you think about this idea of using a debit card to establish credit? Can that work?
I think it's a real reach. I mean, you've got about 25% of households, Jerry, that are either unbanked or underbanked. And there are a lot of people in the financial services community that are trying to crack the code, really, of how do we assign some grade of creditworthiness to people that don't actually have credit trade lines. And so what she's doing is really not unique in that sense. Everybody's trying to do that. But this idea that this prepaid card is going to somehow help you establish some sort of credit history or credit rating, how exactly they're going to do that, if they're going to be able to do that, is very vague. And it sounds a lot to me like, well, you know what, let's just collect a whole lot of data and we'll see what we come up with.
This huckster went to prison for 10 years and had to pay millions in restitution for doing much less fraud than Suze Orman has done. Oprah's other protege, Dr. Oz, was grilled on Capitol Hill for recommending green coffee extracts for weight loss. All while con artist Suze Orman has ridden the golden cloud from scam to scam, stealing from millions, plundering the middle class and poor, and damaging the United States economy. But Suze has powerful protectors who are focused on giving her more and more public influence, including damage control expert and political lobbyist Hillary Rosen. Rosen and her company SKDK also represent the BP oil spill. They have pushed for billions in tax breaks for already profitable corporations, represented a lobbying group aimed at destroying collective bargaining, and blocked President Obama's reforms on the same for-profit college companies that also paid Suze Orman to lobby for them. Rosen and SKDK have also been the damage control PR experts for Suze Orman's shenanigans, including her approved prepaid debit card scam. Orman's political lobbyist team even got her booked at the prestigious National Press Club to pitch her prepaid debit card scheme.
USA Today has called Suze Orman a force in the world of personal finance and a one-woman financial advisor powerhouse.
The intention behind this card is to give people the least cost-effective way for them to be able to pay online, to be able to have a card to access things. Everybody, Mr. Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley introduced Orman's exploitative card at the National Press Club.
Susie, too modest to talk about this, but...
Yes, modest old Suze.
So it is Suze Orman's job that I have taken upon myself.
But let me just be frank with you, because that is my way. The financial services industry is hoping that Suze Orman fails in this endeavor. They are, pardon the pun, banking on the fact that Suze Orman is going to fail in this endeavor. Because if Suze Orman succeeds with this approved card, it's going to fundamentally and radically change the way we do financial business in this country on the part of the poor and, for that matter, everybody else. And so she is up against a significant, and I might add, gale force headwind in trying to make this effort succeed. And I am here now, as I have always been and always will be, by Suze's side and behind Suze to support her in all of her endeavors.
This happened at a poverty conference.
Let me say right quick, Suze was gracious, gracious enough tonight not to raise this issue because she didn't want to come across as proselytizing, and I appreciate that. But for those in the room and for those watching around the country, the announcement that she made today in Washington at the National Press Club is about a card that's called the Approved Card. The Approved Card. So just go online. You can find it under Susie's name or right in the Approved Card. I know it's being talked about everywhere now that the story broke today, but just go online tonight and read more about the Approved Card and what Susie is doing individually to try to address the issue of poverty in this way. So, Susie, thank you.
But don't go believe in the naysayers and what they say I'm doing, because that's not what I am doing.
There you go. All right.
By the banks and by Wall Street.
Orman somehow even managed to get Michael Moore to proclaim his support for her prepaid card scam. Well, pre-famous Susie used to often brag to me that she could talk anyone into anything. Maybe that's the one time she told the truth.
They can buy the politicians, they can run all the ads, they can try to stop Susie from trying to help people get a good credit score, and she's not understating that. She's talking something so revolutionary on that level that she has put her life at risk. Because
I wanted to bring to America a place that they could feel proud to bring their money home to, an alternative to a bank. People can go off the grid. They can take their money out of a bank.
Orman told people from all walks of life to leave the banking system and put their money on her crummy, fee-laden prepaid debit card. Orman also went after the Occupy movement and tried to fool them into thinking her card was not run by a big bank.
I like the Occupy movement, and I think it's very, very important that people hear what they have to say, because all they're saying is, will somebody listen to me? Will somebody just let me feel like I matter? All people want in life is to be seen, to be heard, and to know that what they say matters.
Orman's ghostwriter wrote this article in Huffington Post just 3 months before she released her approved card. You can see that someone who's admitted she can't write didn't write this article. The Occupy movement folks were so pleased with Suze Orman's support that they posted and tweeted about it throughout the blogosphere and social media. Yes, that's over 44,000 results.
This is an Occupy credit card. This is an Occupy debit card, a debit card that serves as a bank that you can put in your pocket. So if they're good enough for the personal finance expert of the world, they are good enough for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Orman also directed her scam toward the Hispanic community.
For more than 4 decades, NCLR has fought for opportunities for Latinos from city centers to farm fields.
We will be stronger, and our voices will be heard, and our potential will be realized. NCLR and Suze Orman are working on similar goals. We want the people we work with to be smart, educated consumers.
Now listen to me closely. Because you may not have a FICO score or a credit score, either one, you may not be able to rent an apartment. Good luck getting a loan from a bank or a credit union to buy a car or a home. And if you do get a loan, you are going to pay incredibly high interest rates. If you have a low FICO score or none at all, do you know that you pay more in car insurance premiums and your insurance premiums across the board are higher? I want to change the credit scoring system in the United States of America, and I need your help to do so. I want it to be inclusive of you, not exclusive. I want you to be rewarded for paying for things on a debit card, not penalized for doing it. To that end, I created something, and I am asking you to help me with this.
Orman was pulling this con at the NCLR with Richard Cordray, head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, right nearby and speaking at the same event. CNN gave Suze Orman time on many of their news shows to push her prepaid card.
She doesn't really need an introduction, but it's courteous to give one when someone is in your studio, so I will tell you. She is a best-selling personal finance author. She has a new show called America's Money Class on OWN, and she is the creator of a new card, an approved debit card.
Orman's CNN appearances came with deceptive show titles, such as Prepaid Debit Card to Help Credit Score.
Yes, sir.
Susie, we've been putting off buying life insurance because we think it's going to be a hassle.
A hassle? You want me to tell you what a hassle is?
Now we'll look at the select quote commercial strand of Orman's prepaid card web. While giving Suze Orman free rein to pitch her card on their news shows, CNN was playing her select quote ads.
Who else has a question for me?
Just about every hour.
You die, or your wife or your life partner dies.
CNN surely received a lot of money to play thousands of select quote ads.
There's no money to take care of the family, your wife, yourself, or whatever. You want to talk about hassle. That is a hassle, sir. So what you really need to do is make protecting your family today a priority for yourself. You better get life insurance, and you better get it right now.
Oh, the webs of Suze Orman scams.
18 to 24 months from now, there will be enough information that they can look at this and go, oh, a debit card can create a FICO score. Now, if a debit card can create a FICO score legitimately, then the true need for credit cards, for your kids to have a credit card so they can have a FICO score, so that therefore they can buy a home one day or get a job, goes out the window. If that goes out the window, then everybody is back to cash on a debit card.
This was narcissistic sociopath Suze Orman's dream, to fool tens of millions of people into giving up their banks and credit cards so they could move their money onto a purple card that would flood Orman's already bulging pockets with more money from the poor and middle class with every transaction and every lost account.
Well, think about it logically. What am I going to get points for? What's going to help me? Whether I go to the pet store and spend my money on my prepaid debit card or I go to the grocery store. There's really just no way of analyzing where people spend money and what it means for how creditworthy you are.
I tend to agree with you. And again, this is what throws this on its ear is that this is a prepaid card. You have put money on it first, and then you're buying stuff later. This is not somebody sends you a bill in the mail and then you pay it.
Right.
Which, again, if you're going to resort to traditional bills that people pay every month to come up with some sort of credit rating, you'd use that system of the cable company, the phone company, the people that send you a bill. How good is the consumer at responding and paying it on time?
You mentioned how you get this card. I want to talk about that for just a second because, we looked at getting a card and testing it out and seeing what it was like. We noticed that when you go through that process, what you find out is you've got to have a credit card to get a card. Now, this just confounds me. If I had a credit card, I wouldn't need a prepaid debit card.
Sounds like a bit of a catch-22, doesn't it, Jerry?
What do you make of that?
You're right, the irony.
I have a motto. The elephant keeps walking as the dogs keep barking. And over the years, I've learned that all the reporters yap, yap, yap right at my little feet. They yapped when I told everybody 3 years ago to put your money all into municipal bonds. You all should have listened to me. Shame on those reporters. You would have saved yourself a lot of money. And I can go on and on. So I just look back at them and I go, what are you thinking, people? You may judge me, but if you think I'm doing something that I'm not doing, then I advise you all to look in the mirror, because you can't see that in others, which isn't true for yourself. And if you're thinking that I'm profit motivating and I'm this and I'm that, Ron Lieber, I would take a good look in the mirror, because something isn't quite right with you, sir. My job is to educate America and to give them the tools that they need so that they finally have a highway out of poverty, get a FICO score, get what they need so we could rebuild America again.
This next clip explains why Suze's card is such a mess.
By the way, we don't have any employees on this as well. We have 4 of us that did this card. The 4 of us did this card all by ourselves. This is a grassroots project. We did not take investors' money. It's because all the money that's happening here is coming off of our blood, sweat, and tears. So, yeah, I'm on the hook for $1 million here. If we didn't know what we were doing, this would have been $4 or $5 million or $10 million to create. Nobody else is going to create it. I've already put in almost $2 million of my own money. It is costing me tens of thousands of dollars a month to keep it going, but I am going to keep it going until it works, because you deserve to have a vehicle like my approved card.
In January, Suze unveiled a prepaid debit card known as the Approved Card, which is the first debit card in history that has the potential to build credit. Suze hopes in 18 months it will be able to give users an alternative way to establish a credit score.
If you use it how I say, it's only $3 a month. If we start to make money, the $3 will go away. I'll get rid of that. Okay. But what happens here is that we will be sharing the information with TransUnion, a major credit bureau, and FICO, Fair Isaac Company. They will get together and they will make a decision. Is this relevant to be able to determine a FICO score? If it is, then a prepaid debit card will start to create a FICO score for you. We can change history here, Ricky, and that's what I'm doing, everybody.
While there have been critics who oppose the card and do not think that it will establish credit, Suze is standing by it, saying it is the best alternative out there.
One might wonder why FICO themselves would not speak up, or even take legal action against someone who is using their name with false insinuations and promises to scam the public.
You all do know what a FICO score is, don't you? Just in case you don't know, FICO stands for Fair Isaac Corporation, the company that kind of started these credit scores years and years ago.
Let's have a quick look at Suze's relationship with Fair Isaac Corporation, whose FICO scores Suze Orman helped put on the map. FICO has paid Suze tens of millions of dollars to tell people how a good FICO score is the most important thing in their financial lives.
If you've ever watched me, you know I'm somebody who is FICO frenzied, which means I always talk about FICO scores. And to my surprise, many of you still don't know what a FICO score is. So if that happens to be you, listen up to me. A FICO score is a 3-digit number.
In 2003, Congress passed a law giving people the right to see their credit scores. FICO teamed with Suze Orman to charge around $50 a pop for her FICO kit. Suze Orman's FICO kit brings together two powerhouses of personal finance. 1 year later, My FICO announces 10 million FICO scores purchased. In 4 short years, MyFICO.com has grown from a one-product experiment in consumer education to become the most trusted source in the country.
A FICO score now determines if a landlord will rent to you. In many states, it determines what your car insurance premium happens to be. It's also starting to determine if an employer will hire you.
Based on this lawsuit, the kit not only gave bad advice, but was actually sharing kit users' information about their finances with creditors. To disguise these debt collection efforts by Suze Orman as advice is misleading, deceptive, and extremely damaging to consumers. The CRAs and Fair Isaac are in business to assist creditors and collectors with the collection of debts. Is it legal to request that consumers submit personal information so that current and future creditors can use it to aid their debt collection efforts? Fair Isaac fails to disclose that the purpose of this service is debt collection. That lawsuit was successful, with Orman suggesting throughout the media landscape that using her approved card was going to lead to an improved FICO score.
You know how Romney was out of touch with the poor people? The people who are judging prepaid cards today are out of touch with the poor people.
Many journalists wanted to know what FICO thought about it. This must have put FICO in quite a challenging position, since they are business partners. FICO responded only to one of those journalists, saying, "In our experience, spending is not actually a great indicator of the thing that the FICO score tries to measure, which is the likelihood you're going to default on a credit bill. Since the only thing Orman's approved card was feeding to TransUnion was where people were spending their money with absolutely no other information about their financial situations,
that will be sharing information with a major credit bureau.
this was FICO's way of saying it's not going to happen.
18 to 24 months from now, a debit card will generate a FICO score. So
Even though FICO tried not to upset revengeful Suze Orman.
you can get a FICO score, so you've got to join me in this, everybody.
This is a big deal.
Big deal.
Why aren't they? Why is this the first? Where has this been all of our lives?
Well, here's the thing: prepaid cards have been around, but mainly prepaid cards were for those unbanked, underbanked people that didn't have money. Now the middle class doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
The face of the poor is all of you, I'm sorry to say. Right, everybody? So it takes somebody like me, seriously, that can go in and say to these credit bureaus, we are going to change that. Me going in to see FICO and saying, we are going to change that.
She obviously wasn't very happy that they spoke up about it at all. 1 year later, Suze Orman declares at the Big Money 2020 convention that FICO scores are no longer relevant. At Money 2020, Suze Orman is talking about FICO scores not being a good determinant of credit worthiness. Great points. Suze Orman says FICO score not relevant as personal finance metric, blames herself for spreading that paradigm. Preach it. Once a corporation has its finger in the Suze Orman pie, it's hard for them to tell the truth about her schemes. And that includes government agencies.
So I want you to go to myfdicinsurance.gov and click on Edie the Estimator. In just a few simple steps, Edie lets you know if all your money is safe and sound. If I were you, I would want to know that. Who cares more about your money than you, me, and the FDIC?
Susie's right. Visit myfdicinsurance.gov and use Edie the Estimator, because the more you know, the safer your money.
One must wonder why the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau didn't do a thing to bring Orman to justice or to get refunds for all of her approved card victims.
Hello, I'm Richard Cordray. As the new director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and as someone who's been helping to build the Bureau for some time, I want to tell you that it's an extraordinary privilege for me to work on behalf of American consumers.
Elizabeth Warren was the original head of the CFPB and has fought to create and keep it going.
The idea was to put a cop on the beat to enforce the laws on credit cards, mortgages, student loans, prepaid cards, and other kinds of consumer financial products and services.
Why might the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau have let con artist Suze Orman scam the public and harm individuals and the United States economy right under their noses? Here's a clue.
Suze Orman picking a president. Guess what? She's not a Hillary Clinton fan. She prefers Elizabeth Warren. Listen.
I tell you, and I'll go on record saying this, if she would run for president against anybody, including Hillary Clinton, I would vote for her hands down. She is the real deal. I think that woman, I couldn't have enough good things to say about Elizabeth Warren.
Interesting. She doesn't say things by accident. We got to hear the voice of our old friend Larry King there, too.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't she also say, though, but I love Hillary Clinton, so doesn't she, it's kind of like having her cake and eat it, too?
She loves Elizabeth Warren more.
Ah.
In her financial corruption investigations with and beyond heading the CFPB, Senator Warren has given a complete pass to Suze Orman's scams.
And then we'll have better people than Suze Orman to use as our basis for political discussion as we're going.
Ouch.
Come on. Since when is she a kingmaker? Here.
Woo!
Suze Orman, she's going to tell us who the candidate is?
I was coming from a place of aggression the other day. Now Chris is taking it, John.
I'm taking a pass on that one.
Remember, 2 years earlier, Orman pitched her approved card scam on John King's CNN show.
They're not able to help their FICO score by just paying cash or a debit card, so I made a deal.
I'm taking a pass on that one.
Come on. You don't want to take on the Orman cabal, huh? Good for you, John. Safe move. Safe move.
Thanks, John.
At the same time, Suze Orman and Hillary Rosen were emphatically pitching Senator Warren for president, the approved card was quietly discontinued without a single peep from Orman.
Suze Orman card is shutting down. Consumer advisor Clark Howard shows us what to do if you have one of these cards.
When her approved card closed, Orman ignored all the requests by journalists and card users for information about why it was closing. Instead, she posted photos and videos of her luxury trip around the world.
Could life get any better than this? I don't think so.
I got very upset with Suze when a few years ago she set up a Suze Orman prepaid card and was very excited about it and did a full national tour promoting the card. And I trashed the card. Why? Because it had fee on top of fee on top of fee. Now, thank goodness, the card is being shut down. If you have one of the Suze Orman cards and you're going to be looking for a new card, you're going to be able to find ones that are much, much better out there that will not cost you an arm, a leg, and a foot to use.
Users received only a single convoluted letter stating that prepaid cards don't affect your credit scores and telling card users to spend all the money on their card within 1 month, which in many cases included thousands of dollars in long-term savings. Anyone who didn't get or understand that single letter was completely unable to access their money, including this disabled vet who asked Senator Warren to help get his stolen money back. Senator Warren instead repaid Orman for her endorsements, giving her more credibility by speaking on stage together.
Tell us how you guys met. It was Time 100, right?
It was, I think the original, I think it was 2009.
I think that's right.
That the two of us had both been nominated and named to the Time 100 list, which is the 100 most influential people in the world, which was an amazing thing that happened.
We have 150 of them right here.
And we met at that event and we went, oh, we like each other.
The topic was student debt, and Suze appeared none too pleased when a reporter broke the rules to ask about Orman's involvement with one of the most predatory for-profit colleges.
Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman. Let's talk money, something that I'm pretty good at. All of you are about to make a serious investment in yourself.
In 2013, Orman struck a deal to promote the University of Phoenix, a for-profit college that many finance experts consider one of the worst financial decisions a person can make. Many of these schools offer a toxic mix of ultra-expensive tuition, low-quality classes, high dropout rates, and poor job placement. As a result, they often leave students, single parents, veterans, immigrants, and others struggling to earn a living without jobs and deep in debt from the loans they've taken out. For-profit colleges have 13% of U.S. college students, but an astonishing 47% of student loan defaults. So why is Suze Orman, who calls herself undeniably America's most recognized expert on personal finance, teaching an online personal finance course at the University of Phoenix, the biggest of these controversial for-profit colleges? While Orman was profiting from the University of Phoenix, her political lobbyist PR representative got Suze booked on political events to make her look like a student debt activist. This is the common part of Orman's scams, where she pretends to be protecting the public against what she herself is doing. Financial guru Suze Orman joins members of Congress to speak about student debt. Congressman Scott to be joined by personal finance guru Suze Orman to discuss solutions to the student loan debt crisis. This included the event with Senator Elizabeth Warren, where Suze Orman first lied, then admitted, then rationalized teaching at the University of Phoenix.
True, you know when you say, especially to a woman, how are you? She goes, I'm fine. She's not. She's not, otherwise she'd say, I'm great.
Hi.
Sorry.
Suze, are you teaching classes?
Wait, go ahead and introduce
Sorry,
yourself.
I'm Allie Grasgreen from Politico. Suze, are you teaching classes at the University of Phoenix?
No, I'm not.
Did you?
Did I? No, I never did.
Okay.
All right,
Now,
so
wait, let me
sneak
just say something about that. I did a personal finance course for the University of Phoenix, the first credited one, under the guise that if you take that course and you look at the beginning of it, it says you cannot take out student loans if you cannot afford it. If you cannot afford to go to this college, I want you to drop out right now.
Okay, Senator Warren.
Just so you know.
Senator Warren, 6 years ago today was also a Wednesday, September 17th, 2008.
Even with this troubling lie, admission, and then rationalization, and with Elizabeth Warren looking on with a foolish smile, Hillary Rosen's PR team blasted the association out, using Orman to push Warren as president and Warren to push Orman as a trustworthy expert. It was one more positive spin for Orman's shenanigans from the same Time magazine that crowned Suze Orman as one of the 100 most influential people in the world for 2 years in a row. Suze was nominated and praised for the timepiece by Susie Welch, wife of one of Suze's billionaire supporters, Jack Welch.
I happen to believe corporations are people.
Let me tell you what it's like to be named Susie, no matter how you spell it. People expect you to be perky. Susie Sunshine, they call you, as if you might like it. Or worse, Susie Cream Cheese. People expect you to be frivolous, frothy, and not particularly smart. They expect you to be, well, ordinary. Suze Orman is none of those things. Take ordinary, oh please. Here is a woman who sleeps 4 hours a night because she thinks the world is too exciting to turn off. And as for not particularly smart, look, you do not become the personal financial advisor to the world by giving stupid advice. Or do you? Orman supporter Steve Forbes' magazine soon after declared Suze Orman as the 9th most influential celebrity in the world, and ran pretty much the only article that placed Orman's approved card scam in a positive light. Steve Forbes' daughter Moira did a very strange and overly laudatory interview with Orman.
You've taken a big risk by going into this venture.
Yes.
You're trying to change an industry. What was that process like for you to make this decision and to go up and butt heads
with everybody?
A lot of people.
For 5 to 6 years now, I have been trying to find a way that debit card activity would generate a FICO score, and nobody could figure out how to do it. They couldn't figure out how to do it because they didn't want to do it. They wanted things to stay exactly like they are because they understand this system works and the people make a fortune off of those who don't have money or who have bad FICO scores. Then enters Suze Orman. And Suze Orman has this vision that's far better than just another prepaid card. My vision is this. It is time that a system has changed. In my opinion, credit scoring is obsolete. I want to create a new scoring system. I hope they call it the SO score. After 18 to 24 months, there will be a decision made. Will activity on a debit card predict a FICO score? So I am simply asking people to get this card, to pay their bills on this card online for free, to buy their necessities on this card, to not go out and buy things, other things. Just do everything they do now on this card. And 18 to 24 months, maybe, they will be part of a movement that has changed history for the good. I have to fight now. I have to fight so the public knows the truth about this card. Because there are institutions out there. There are other prepaid cards out there. There are people out there that have everything to gain if this card loses.
Is this the hardest fight of your career?
This is the hardest fight of my career. However, this is the most important fight of my career. You know, Maura, I'm closer to 61 now than I am 60. And I do plan to exit. I plan to exit in 3 years. Because there's other things that I want to do with my life. And this is what I want to leave as my legacy.
This, Suze Orman, should be your legacy. The world deserves better. However much Suze's products may have helped some to organize their finances, it is not worth the cost to the world. Anyone who was conned into thinking that Suze Orman was a trustworthy and educated financial expert deserves to get their money back.